The end of almost every erectile dysfunction commercial features a couple cuddling on a sailboat. Janine looks just like the gorgeous actress in those commercials. 5 years ago, I'm meeting Janine at a restaurant for our first date. I love first dates, even with ordinary-looking women. I love first dates because I'm a storyteller, and I can tell a story that I have ground into the ground, and it's new to a first date. Janine is an art teacher. So I go with the time that I brought my teenage daughters to the Chicago Institute of Art. I tell the girls, invite them to join me in a 45-minute tour of one of the galleries. The girls say that they would rather explore the museum on their own. 45 minutes later, we reunite, and Angela, my older daughter, says, "Dad, we've seen everything. Let's go." I tell Angela, the Chicago Institute of Art holds 300,000 objects. How is it possible that you have seen everything? Angela says, "We're young. We're used to scrolling." In the course of telling this story, Janine checked her watch 5 times. So I talk about when I led my bicycle club tour, the theme I chose was Ugly Houses of Bergen County. By coincidence, one of the riders, a sensitive middle-aged man, was the owner of one of the ugly houses. During that story, Janine consulted her watch 7 times. Now I go with my deepest, most poignant story. In 2000, my wife and I traveled to an orphanage in Ukraine. At the orphanage, we had 24 hours to decide whether or not to adopt a 4-month-old baby who was diagnosed with paraplegia. I end the story with Alec is now 23 years old, and he is still an enthusiastic snowboarder. During this whole story, Janine is riveted on her watch. I respond by looking at my watch and say, "Time flies, I've got to go." Janine doesn't even mention that our food had just arrived. I never see Janine again. 3 months later, I meet Lara. Lara is an art history professor, and Lara also could have starred on an erectile dysfunction commercial. Lara and I have been together for 5 happy years. 2 weeks ago, however, I tell Lara about my experience with Janine. Lara says, "I think I know where Janine was coming from. A first date should be a conversation, not a soliloquy." And then Lara says, "When I think back on it, if I had been listening during our first date, we'd have never had a second date." Thank you.